Hi everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my tarot channel. I was thinking about how it's weird to see me from this angle and I was going to correct it. Then I was like, maybe it will be somehow weirdly relevant for the reading to see you, for you to see me at a different vantage point than usual, which usually it's like straight on. I don't know. Maybe I'll seem less intimidating or more intimidating or not intimidating at all. Like, or not even on that polarity of being intimidating and not intimidating. I'm just babbling. Maybe you feel intimidated by someone or something. That word just was the tip of my tongue. And I'm just going to do a reading about you and another person. I'm going to try to keep it under 10 minutes, and I'm going to try to use some guided imagery. So this is about you and someone else. And I feel that it's a problematic relationship. So let's get both sides of this story. So this is my favorite relationship read. So how you see them. 6 of Earth breakthrough. You see them as somebody who is, or you maybe at first saw them, and maybe still do see them, as somebody who tries to plant seeds and make things grow. Somebody who is invested in charity, actually, because 6 of Pentacles is charity and giving. Sorry, I'm just putting this paper towel here. Don't ask me why. Okay, so that's how you see them. And you also kind of just see them as like a positive person, and like maybe larger than life, like maybe they have a big aura. How they see you. 7 of Water. Sorry, it's kind of ruined in this card. They see you as like a fantasy. Maybe they fantasize about you, or maybe they see you as a liar. Maybe they see you as someone who's like highly intuitive, and maybe that scares them. And maybe they also see you as one of many choices, because they have other options in their life. And then the current state, I don't know what they think that you're lying about, but I don't think you are. I think that comes from a history of them, of people being deceptive, because the 7 can be about Neptune. So I think they've had experiences with people being deceptive in their life, and they're just like weary and don't trust people, which is really not about you. How you so your needs. You need to create something in your life that is yours, that you birth on your own, that also generates not only energy and excitement and fun, but power and money. I know that the Pentacles is money, but I also relate, I mean, here's my maybe oblique parallel relationship, because I see the fire signs as relating to, is it the sacral chakra down here, the solar plexus? And I think that has to do with all of our finances, and it is related to the fire signs. That something in you're like rubbing sticks together to create magic in your life. Like maybe so your needs are, that's what your needs are, to create your own stability. Maybe you're like creating something out of nothing, and you're like thinking of things you can do. Their needs, East of Earth. They are dealing with, this card is about a financial offering, really. So maybe they're trying to offer you something financial, or maybe also they're just dealing with the pressures of finances. Even though this is a positive way, it still is pressure. And also I just want to quickly go into the corn. So okay, so we human beings, Native Americans specifically, started to cultivate corn, definitely, in the US. And in, I mean, like Mexico, and maíz is called corn. But like, it's actually, it took adaptability for the digestive system to be able to really adapt to corn. It took like, I think it must be thousands of years. And that's why the same with gluten. Some people are gluten intolerant. Some people also don't handle corn very well. But gluten can be hard for a sensitive gut because we really cultivated it and like made it up on our own. What we did, the process of wheat is very mechanized, and so this person may be like going through a like, maybe they're at like their first job, or like they're like in a financial situation where they're like also feeling maybe like it's not enough, like they need more, even though the one is an opportunity. The one is just a beginning and a start place, and maybe they feel like they've adapted and put in the time at this point to have been growing some more corn. That's what I'm getting from this person. Current state, 5 of water lost. So there may have been like an already, like an energy where like it stopped before it started. The current state is like disappointment. This card, 5 of cups, is emotional disappointment. Maybe on both sides. I don't know why. And then your hopes are 6 of air. Sorry, it's messed up. Of course, I take terrible care of some of my decks, but not on purpose. 6, I'll just buy another version of this. 6 of air, change. Okay. Your hopes are that like there would be communication, but also you're looking for moving on from a difficult part of your life. Okay, so like you've been in a really tough place and you're like you're moving forward, maybe like leaving a location. And also maybe it's just this situation, this dynamic with this person was like toxic, and you're just like, I'm out, you're like exiting. And also with the dream catcher, maybe like you are very perceptive and you perceived an energy that was negative for your system in this person. But with the dream catcher, I feel like you tried to help them catch some of that negativity, and maybe you did catch it for them, and then you were like, ooh, I can't like do this, which was sort of done subconsciously. A lot of empaths will do that for people, like as a like they'll sort of like take on some of the toxic, like people who are empaths get yelled at, or get people feel safe expressing some of these tougher emotions because they can sense sometimes that the person will have compassion. But there's a thin line there between that becoming abuse, and it has to do with the empath setting boundaries. And yeah, I'm getting that you did set a boundary here with this person, with their negativity. And the current state is Ace of Air. So a lot of thinking, isolated thinking on both ends. And also like sort of like opportunities, like maybe this isolation, both people are like thinking of how they could change their lives, and thinking of mental opportunities. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe one of you is thinking of like using your mind in a way that makes money that you haven't thought of before. And we got things to keep in mind, 3 of Earth reversed. So maybe you didn't work well together because of things that were lurking for both of you under the surface of your lives. Maybe you both like triggered something about the other, and then it was like this would be the opposite of growth, because it says growth on the card, but it got reversed. So it's like, and the 3 of Pentacles also just traditionally means working together as a team in a group. So I don't think that you worked together. The 3 also is about communication. The 3 is also the playful child that relates to Jupiter. So I think this person and you may both have like playful communication styles, and maybe be both artistic, and that is like a draw, like creative in some way, both of you. So that means that also that there could be like, all plants, most plants, not all, can be revived if you really give them love and care. Not all. I mean, it depends. Some are like temperature controlled and will die in the wrong setting, but many plants, it may look like the end, but you can get a little bud going and make it grow. I'm not talking about marijuana, in case you're guessing. I've never grown marijuana. But so this card means that even though there's been like a pause in growth, and also maybe stunted growth for both of you in a situation in your lives, that's going to be you're going to be both becoming out of that. There's going to be like some expansion here. And then overall, we got 4 of Air reversed, so contemplation. So that would be 4 of Swords, rest. So both of you maybe need deep rest, but also meeting each other maybe brought you out of deep rest, if that makes sense. And then let's get a contextualizing card. We got the 7 of Air, futility. So both of you may feel futility in your lives. Let me get one more contextualizing card for the whole reading, because I don't feel that was enough for us. We get a little bit more about this person's feelings about the situation and what happened. 1 card for them and 1 card for you. 1 card for them, 1 card for you, 1 card for them, 1 card for you. Okay. 1 card for them. They felt oppression by you, oppressed by and also oppressed by the ending somehow. I don't know. Maybe they also felt burdened by you. And they felt like overwhelmed. But they also felt like integration, like they felt 4 of Fire, completion. So they felt like there was sort of like a birth, death, life cycle with you that happened really quickly, and now they're just now integrating what actually happened. I'm going to get to your side in a second, but I want to get one more card about what actually happened in their mind. So what is the completion that they're talking about? What does that mean? Star and Daughter of Fire, inner strength. They see you as someone who is very independent. Maybe you're a female. Maybe the star comes after the Tower, so maybe you've been through a Tower moment, and this spirituality here, and also relationship to Christ. Maybe you are a Christian, or maybe you like care for animals. They see you as spiritually connected, and maybe that is also why they ended it, because they felt burdened. See how this is the Sage. sage has to be burned after negative energy or intent, or before a ceremony to get rid of negative energy, or for like negative spirits in the house. You may have like touched upon some negative ancestor or negative spirit or negative thing within them that like both people like spiritually, like you meant to help them clear this, and now they're like looking at themselves and their behavior and their whole life kind of because of this interaction. They also see you as the daughter of fire. They see you as someone who is like a spitfire. You have a lot of like grit, and you're kind of like talk back maybe. Maybe you really don't like being told what to do. But there's also this like innocence or like naivete that they see in you, and they maybe worry but also know that it guides you. And then they have this, they know that you have a lot of inner strength. So they feel like their journey with you is over because you don't need them. They do have like a fatherly feeling, and definitely a mental fatherly feeling. And you on your side, you felt like depleted by this whole interaction somehow. Even though it's like they felt burdened, you were depleted. And then you were trying to be compassionate and like loving and caring, and maybe you were very intuitive with this person and it was like scary for them, but that's just how you are. Or maybe you were very, the mother, she's holding two bowls. Maybe you like showed two sides of a coin. You were like really for real with them, but then you were also like caring, and then you felt hurt at the end of this interaction. Let's get a guided message from Spirit about the whole interaction for both people. Hopefully this is our last card. Please give us a culminating message. What do we need to know about this relationship? Father of Earth, Two of Air, Inner Peace, Three of Water, fullness. So the inner peace there's the goal of this interaction, the Two of Air is about being in between actually two swords and not being able to make a choice and being stuck in between in indecision. But you can find peace there, similar to the Hanged Man. Maybe you're both in a stalemate situation in your lives, and maybe you both feel with the Father of Earth reverse that like you're both like orphaned in some ways in your lives, and you have that in common. And also this person feels like they also are in poverty. Like maybe you're both and struggling. Three of Water, fullness. But the connection, even though there's been all this maybe hurt feelings and words, there were a lot of swords cards and maybe defensiveness with some of this stuff. And then there's still the Three of Cups is about, well, it can be read several ways. So it can be three's company, two's a crowd, two's company, three's a crowd. So maybe this person is involved with someone else, and they felt like you peered deeply into their psyche in a way that was opening their heart, expanding their heart, and they were like uncomfortable because that's only happened with this romantic person that they know, not with just a random person. And you weren't even trying to do that, but they did that to you also. So there was like heart opening even through conflict somehow. And then, but this could also be about maybe you have a third party that they don't necessarily like that. And then also maybe this card is also just about celebration, and can also be about women, maybe like specifically women celebrating. So like maybe you both have a very tender side, And maybe that with the 3 here can relate to communication within the 3rd house. Maybe you both will reconnect at some point in a more joyful time in your life when you both feel more abundant and full. So that's the reading, and I hope you have a great night.